Good day, and welcome to Conversations with AARP in the Virgin Islands. Destructive hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, and other natural disasters plague millions of Americans each year. And now we struggle with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many Americans struggling to recover from extreme disasters fall victim to scammers. Many of these scammers are often disguised as contractors offering quick, cheap fixes for damaged homes and businesses to others who simply take your money and run. I'm Troy Deshabir Schuster, State Director of AARP in the Virgin Islands. There are many ways to avoid becoming victim to home repair scams. And today's conversation with the Virgin Islands Licensing and Consumer Affairs will provide residents of the Virgin Islands with tips to ensure they are getting the right kind of help. And so joining our conversation today is Commissioner Richard T. Evangelista, Esquire, the Commissioner of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, and Horace Graham from the Licensing and Consumer Affairs Department. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good day, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much once again for hosting the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're happy to have you back with us. And Horace, if you will, refresh our memory on your title and exactly what you do at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs.
Oh, okay, no problem. Again, my name is Horace Graham. I'm the Director of the Division of Licensing here at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs. And what we do is we issue business licenses and we regulate same businesses.
Great. Thank you. And so last time we were talking about all kinds of scams in general. Now we're kind of focusing a little bit on these particular types of scams that come up after natural disasters, especially with contractors and other workers coming in from outside of the territory. So, starting with Commissioner Evangelista, if you will tell us what are some of the most common scams to watch out for following a natural disaster, all related to the natural disaster itself. What kind of scams really pop up?
Sure, and thank you once again for putting forth this topic. It's vital, it's important, and it's timely. As you know, hurricane season started on June 1st, and we're approaching the class, which are classically and historically been the most hectic month, which is the month of September. Unfortunately, after a major disaster, there's a lot of damage and destruction done to buildings, both residential and commercial. So you have persons who travel throughout the United States and some that are actually based here who take advantage of those who are suffer mentally, emotionally, physically, and they will approach you and they will indicate to you that I can fix your home. I can get you back in your home as quickly as possible. Any times you're not thinking, so you fail to ask, do they even have a business license? Are they even insured to do it? And what occurs is you provide them with a deposit, a down payment, a sum of money to get started. And many times, since we're speaking about the scam artists, these individuals do this to 10 other people on the same day. And by the end of the week, you meet each other at a common meeting area, whether it's the supermarket, if it's available, or a fueling station. And you're asking, have you seen X person? This person gave me a great deal. That person has already left the island. There's just a lot of persons who take advantage of people who are, in a sensitive state and just wish to get back to normal. So what we at DLC are doing, along with Director Graham, is we are embarking on an education campaign. And the reason why we're doing this campaign is it's twofold. One, to be prepared in the event a natural disaster strikes and you need to hire a contractor. But also, the second part of this conversation is we're also assisting local entrepreneurs to get licensed so that in the event a disaster strikes, they can actually present a valid business license to persons to do work. And I'll allow Director Graham to share with you his experience after Hurricanes Irma and Maria, what was implemented, and what we have since done to amend the process to allow other persons to be legitimately licensed as well as insured. Director Graham?
Yes, good day, folks. We're really excited about being able to share with you some of the things that we've been doing to address the need that arises in the community for legitimate contractors who perform work. And so one of the key things I would like to indicate first is whenever someone presents to you that they are a licensed contractor or a home repair person or provider, please ask them for a business license, because no one can exist or to operate in the U.S. Virgin Islands unless they are appropriately licensed. And then if they are not able to present that to you, what we have done with our licensing application, that's our online system, is there's a listing of all those contractors available online. And if an individual presents to you that give you a name and they say, well, my name is Horace Graham and I'm a contractor, you ask them for, make sure you get their name, you get a telephone number, you have some contact information, you go into the website, you enter that name of that individual or the name of the business. And if it does not come up, then you know that they are not approved at present. So that means they may be delinquent, the license may have expired or something, but they are not an approved entity. And so that's one way that the listening audience can protect themselves against the possibility of predatory contractors.
And another thing that we'd like to share with you is that many persons currently who are not general contractors carry the name contractors on their business name. We are working with the Office of the Lieutenant Governor to rectify this, because you may have someone who has a license to paint or a license to tile, but they actually call themselves X tile contractor, and that is a very confusing word of art to use. So you believe you're hiring a contractor who has come to do everything for you, when in fact they just have a license to tile. So there's things that we realize have occurred and that need to be corrected, but we are being proactive in ensuring that we try to get as many of these unlicensed persons away from the territory. They're going to exist, but we need you to be prepared so that you can act accordingly. And keep in mind, those persons who do engage in the art of general contracting and everything associated with it, if in fact they put themselves out to be a general contractor and in fact take money from you, we are referring cases to the Attorney General's office for prosecution. And people in the community say, well, why are you taking your friend who you grew up with to for prosecution? You know, ladies and gentlemen, quite frankly, when you have persons who are investing in improving or repairing their homestead, which is probably some of our most valuable assets that we'll ever own while we're here on this planet Earth, you know, it's inconceivable that someone would want to take advantage of someone and take their savings or take the money that they borrowed and you put it towards ill purposes. So we at DALCA are sensitive of this, and we're doing everything in our power to assist you. However, we need you, the person who's hiring a contractor and our alleged contractor, to assist us. If you suspect someone is engaging in the business of contracting and you do not believe that they are a contractor, contact us. We've actually established scam lines that you can actually utilize. And in the District of St. Croix, that number is 340-727-SCAM, SCAM. So the number is actually 340-727-7226. Or in the District of St. Thomas and St. John, we have a special number, 340-771-SCAM, SCAM. And the SCAM is 7226. Also, what Director Graham is going to share with you, and we're happy to report, is finally we have a appointed and confirmed member of the General Contractors Board. There has never been a member of this board that was created by the legislature. In fact, the member of the board is actually the commissioner of DLCA, and that person is actually residing in the District of St. Thomas and St. John. And in the next 4 weeks, Mr. Schuster, we actually have a nominee out of the District of St. Croix who's going before the Rules Committee for confirmation. So, in fact, we are moving steadfast forward to ensure that the consumers of the territory are actually protected from the ruthless, scrupulous actions that some persons may take.
If I may, Commissioner and I want you to also recognize there's two types of situations where someone could present themselves and say that they are providing, repair services, etc. And they are legitimate, so that an individual who may be a carpentry contractor, these are the trades, a masonry contractor, maybe a tiling or roofing contractor, and maybe a drywall, sheetrock installation contractor. So there are a number of trades that individuals can individually obtain. The issue here is that we want to make sure that one, that they are licensed, and for the homeowner to be vigilant in identifying whether or not that person has insurance. We recognize that many times the jobs that maybe a tiling contractor or a carpentry contractor, individual trades persons may obtain, may not be of any significant value. And so we have eliminated in the interim the requirement for maintaining ongoing insurance for those trades. So when the homeowner seeks to contract with that individual, they should be aware of an individual who has insurance, an individual who doesn't have insurance. And all it takes is for you to ask them to produce or to provide that information. If that is important to you, then you should ask for insurance. If they don't have and they can obtain it, then you certainly could continue to work with them, if insurance is a critical part of what you're requiring. Okay, so those are some that I think you should be mindful that not everyone will be licensed as a general contractor or construction contractor. You may be able to access individuals who are licensed for the particular trades. Just be aware that they are not general contractors. They're not going to come bearing insurance generally. And so if it's something that you want major construction done in your residence, you need to present to the bank a licensed contractor, then you might need to check in for a general contractor as opposed to the individual tradespersons that may be available to do the work that you require.
And now, talking about all of these various types of licenses, whether general or a particular trade license, um, how do these people go about getting the license? I mean, other than the regular application process, I mean, do they have to take an exam to prove that they have the skills? So could anybody just go and become a tile contractor and all the time they don't even know how to tile? Is there any way? How do you screen that?
Mr. Disha Schuster, thank you very much for the question. As you can see, Mr. Horace Graham is grinning from ear to ear. And the reason why he's grinning is that only the professional licenses actually sit for a written exam, both national and local. So that would be the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, the general contractor, and a couple more. All the other trades currently are under Director Graham in the Division of Licensing, and quite frankly, do not require any type of practical exam or written exam. And that is something that I am working on to protect the consumer. It will probably annoy some persons who are in the trade. However, it is my belief that those trades need to be moved to the boards and commission side and allow some minimal competency for those particular licenses that were mentioned prior to tiling, roofing, carpentry. As it stands, you, myself, and Director Graham can actually form a corporation or whatever type of business and walk into DLCA. Actually, let's refrain. I retract walk in. Go online and apply for a trade license. And if we pass the background check, we will be issued a trade license for tiling. So if you're interested, we can form a tiling business. And it sounds scary, but that's the truth. And, in fairness to the persons who are engaged in the profession, if you can actually do what you have been licensed to do by us, I don't think a test, a practical examination would behoove you or prevent you from continuing your practice. I would just like to do this for the community so that they know that someone has the minimum competency to actually pick up tile, to apply mortar, to put the tile in place, and it's going to sit there for, as long as it should.
Right. So the other thing that the community needs to understand, that even when in the instance where you're dealing with a contractor that is a general contractor or any other service provider, that references are critical. Ask around, even in under duress, even when you're faced with having to repair a home or damaged window or whatever. Ask for references. So even if you had a licensed contractor, someone who sat and took tests, there there vast differences in quality and skill. And so always ask for references. That is one of the key thing that you can do to protect yourself against bad work, or maybe even people who may just show up and say, I can do this. Pause, thank them for what they're trying to get done, and say, listen, can I get a number of references, local references, most importantly, for the work that you are proposing to do for me in this space.
And in the same token, when you ask for a reference, also ask to go see the work, because many times, someone's quality of work may not be the same reference point that you're trying to get to. So go check on the work. If the person is proud of what they did and it can stand the test of time, there's no reason why you should not ask for that recommendation, but also actually go see the product itself so that you can get the quality of work that you're seeking.
Excellent.
Great. And so as we're now in the middle of hurricane season and marching on toward the peak, do you have any tips as to what residents can do now to prepare themselves to avoid falling into scams? I understand the great educational program that you have at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, and we hope that everybody would take advantage of that. But are there any other just basic practical tips, even before the hurricane hits, that people can start exercising now to protect themselves from scammers?
Sure. I think one of the things that I would recommend is actually take note and take photos of what your home currently looks like in its existing state, so that, because after a storm and disaster, that person who's coming in to scam you may actually create destruction that did not even occur because of the hurricane, or suggest that things were in place and need to be replaced that were not even existing prior to the storm. So I think photographs are very important. And in addition to photographs, when you take your photographs, hopefully you do it digitally and you store it in more than one location, preferably the cloud or a hard drive that you can travel with, because when it comes time to getting assistance after disaster, you not only need photographs, but also another item that I would recommend is a copy of your deed and a copy of your insurance premium.
We used to practice this in the government. In one area, it's called specific contracts in advance. So what you might want to do is identify people that maybe contractors or repair persons that you are familiar with, and let them know that you're interested in engaging them if and when something goes down, and maybe they can give you some ideas. Maybe you may look at your facility and you see maybe this is weak, or this is something that needs to be shored up. And so you're not just waiting. You see that the fascia board is rotted and it's maybe time to replace. Maybe if you get that taken care of in advance, it may safeguard you additional damage. I'm just trying to put you in additional expense, but if you think about it, maybe there's some preventive measures that can be taken. Trim trees that potentially could do harm to the building. You may want to trim them appropriately. I'm not telling you to go out and get chainsaws and trim it yourself, but maybe someone that can do that for you and do that appropriately. So the different things that you can do to safeguard, but I think ultimately it's to be able to select persons that are licensed because being licensed means that they are known to us to do this type of work or to hold themselves out to do that type of work. And so it's important because at the end of the day, when you file a report about someone who is maybe scammed you or hurt you in some way, you should be able to identify them as a legitimate business. One of the biggest problems that we have is that folks come in, represent that they are licensed, and the homeowner never asks them to prove it. So proof, you can obtain it for yourself. You can call the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, or you can go online for yourself at www.dlca.vi.gov. Again, that is www.dlca.vi.gov. And just check on the website. There's a link right there that says search. You can find the business and identify whether or not they are licensed. And I could also say to the business community, those of you who may be a part of this audience today, is why don't you come into the office and make sure that your license is up to date at this stage, so that whenever, if in the eventuality that a storm hits, that you are not left in the cold, so to speak.
But Director Graham, can they in fact go online to check to see if their license is current to save them the trip into our offices?
Oh yeah, so business owners and or community members, just visit our website, and you can definitely go on. If you are a business owner, you can actually log on to your own portal to see if the license is up to date. And this is the best time to do it. Get that situation resolved prior to the storm, so that we can make sure that everything is up and running just nice and dandy.
Now, we know that it's the law that all of these contractors must be licensed in the Virgin Islands in order to perform their duties legally. But what if one comes in who's not licensed and an unsuspecting person goes ahead and contracts with them and then gets scammed or defrauded? This is probably to Attorney Evangelista. Then what is the legal recourse? Because they hired somebody who's not licensed here, do they have no recourse, or do they still have recourse, and how do they proceed?
Sure. So at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, we do not discriminate on complaints filed against licensed or unlicensed quote unquote contractors. We will try to get to that person, the contractor who scammed the complainant that is sitting in our office or has made the complaint. And if in fact we can resolve it, then we attempt to resolve it. However, if it proves impossible, unable to locate the contractor, or the contractor gets the initial contact and then evades any other contact, we simply wrap it in a nice package, put a wonderful bow on it, and refer it to the Department of Justice for possible prosecution. So there is recourse. However, of course, what the complainant is seeking is actually recoup the funds exhausted or the job completed. So if we can get the job completed, we attempt to do that, because in fairness to the complainant, that's really what they want. However, if the person who committed the scam is being very difficult, we don't waste any time, and we just started the process of, not wasting anyone's time, and we will submit and refer to the Department of Justice.
And is this prosecuted then, or investigated and prosecuted through the local Department of Justice or United States?
If I have not referred any to the United States Attorney's Office yet, because these are local contractors or offenders. But if in fact, if necessary, the Attorney General's office can always elevate and transfer it to the U.S. Attorney's Office for prosecution.
Okay, excellent. And so to start up this process, how long does it take to start the process of investigation if somebody is scammed? And how long does the whole investigation take place normally? Is this something that moves quickly, or is this something that could potentially drag on for a very long time? What's the
Sure,
time?
that's a very good question. And when I walked into this office, the process, quite frankly, takes too long. Currently, due to circumstances that have occurred in the office, I'm currently assisting the legal division as well as the Division of Consumer Protection. And we have created a fast forward button in the office. So we assess the case. If we can do something with it, we attempt to resolve it. And if it cannot be resolved by a time certain, we wrap it up. And if there's merit to the case, we submit it to the Attorney General's office. Otherwise, we advise the person that they need to seek a claim, or file a claim rather, in small claims court if it's $9,999 or less, or hire an attorney and take it into Superior Court to file a civil cause of action.
Yeah, and then we hope it moves quickly there. We hear the courts have such a big backlog, but at least you all do your part quickly in-house in
Correct.
licensing and
Correct.
consumer affairs. And then we hope that the courts are able to move quickly as well. And
And
so,
that's why this is so important, that folks really think through what you can do to sort of safeguard yourself against unscrupulous actors.
yeah, very important to try to avoid the whole situation rather than get into it and then try to deal with it later.
Yeah.
And so we have just a couple of minutes left. Could you, again, just give us a bit of a recap? First of all, tell us, how can people find out if a particular contractor is licensed in the Virgin Islands? You already said it, but if you review that for us, please.
Sure, Director Graham.
Yeah, the very simple way to do it is to visit our website at www.dlca.vi.gov. Again, that's www.dlca.vi.gov, and just ask and just check there and enter the name of the contractor. If they have a business name, enter that name, and you should be able to determine. You can also call our offices on St. Croix 713-3522 or St. Thomas 714-3522, and one of our customer service representatives will be there to answer your call and get you in contact with the right person who can provide that information to you also. So you can call our offices. We recommend that you go online. If you don't see the individual, then you can tell them, hey, listen, I don't see your license as showing up here. So what's the story? If they are unable to provide you with a license, I think that's the biggest way, the easiest way for you to sort of pause and let them know, listen, I'm only going to do business with a licensed individual. And it's not difficult to get a license in the U.S. Virgin Islands for either of the trades or even the general contractor license.
Great. And then if they've been scammed, then to file a report, if you'll just review that process.
Okay, so you can do the report in several ways. I think the commissioner has the number for the scam lines. He shot it earlier. He'll repeat that. But also you can file a report, consumer protection report, online at the same website, www.dlca.vi.gov. Once you file that report there, one of our consumer protection officers will definitely give you a call back and try to get to the bottom of this. Commissioner?
And if you're challenged using the internet, we actually have a scam number. It's 340-727-7226 or 340-771-7226. And if I may, Mr. State Director, one of the things I'd like to share with your audience, if for whatever reason you are having a problem getting through to an officer within DLCA or Director Graham, I am now sharing my actual straight line, which is 340-725-5129. Call me, let me know what your problem is, what your issue is, so I can assist you to get the assistance you need. After all, we are here to assist you. And I realize that with the stress that COVID-19 has brought upon us since March of 2020, it's just causing an undue burden on our mental and emotional and spiritual being. And we are here to assist you. We're not perfect. We do have stretches, and you can assist us. I say us because we're a team here, a family at DLCA. You can call me at 340-725-5129, and I will make sure that we can assist you. And this is one less thing you need to worry about in the United States Virgin Islands.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We look forward to seeing you in an upcoming program. Have a great day.
Thank you.